All right, ladies, gentlemen, NMB. Before we start, I want to just make clear that Bulgaria is one of my favorite Balkan and Eastern European countries. Besides, well, Poland is kind of Central European. But with that being said, kind of got Bulgaria bias, but very partial and very neutral in this article. But with that being said, anyway, we're going to the Socialist People's Republic of Bulgaria today. And today we're going to talk with the officials of the US Embassy like Ansin Yanko and even try and see if we could get a word from Tidor Zanikov. Now, what you must know is that Bulgaria has been habitually the worst relations of communist states in Eastern Europe by the US and the American government, but it is not as worse as Czechoslovakia is right now. Now, with that being said, the relations are warm and neutral, but there's also a catch. Bulgaria has to be on the shoe heel of the Soviet Union as well, so their policy may not always align with the Americans, becoming one of the most, let's say, the most true believers of communists in the Warsaw Pact, always following and doing as the Soviet wish, but Bulgaria does have some arbitrary independence from Moscow. Now today, Sofia might flex their muscles and see if they could get a trade deal from the US. But with that being said, today we're just going to go around Sofia once again. Yes, we just like to walk around communist states. Like communist states just allow journalists to walk freely around the world and around their capitals and around their country without even being escorted anywhere. But seriously, with that being said, we're going to talk about Bulgaria tonight or tomorrow. And with that, this is the last one on our road trip of Eastern Europe. Ladies, gentlemen, NMB, learn something. See you later. Alright, the last Eastern Bloc country we're actually going to be talking about right now is Sofia, Bulgaria, on the 26th of April, 1975. Bulgaria appears eager to improve her relationship with the United States, despite a area created for the country by the Soviet Union and the Soviet Union's rejection of a commitment to fair immigration in return for more favorable trade conditions. Bulgaria's highly circumscribed independence in foreign policy caused her to fall promptly into line when the Soviet Union turned its back last January on a trade agreement that would have given Moscow more favored nation status and credits, conditional, on a Soviet erasing of immigration barriers. For the Soviet Union, the amendment to the 1973 Trade Reform Act by Senator Henry M. Jackson, Democrat of Washington, and Charles A. Vanik, Democrat of Ohio, has a direct application because of Jewish pressure for immigration. But Bulgaria knows no such pressure. She opened the door to her 50,000 Jewish citizens at the end of World War II, and 45,000 took the opportunity to leave Sofia. Because of Sofia's inability to take a foreign policy position at variance with that of Moscow, it has abandoned long-standing efforts for trading advantages from the United States, which the trade reform had finally put within reach of Sofia. Ties with the Soviets are now stressed. Ansin Yankov, head of the North American division of the Foreign Ministry, explained in an interview that Bulgaria's stand and Bulgaria's stance had to be based not only on her national interests, but that on the common interests of the communist countries of the world. Our relations with the Soviets are very close, the official said. Nonetheless, Mr. Yankov gave a general positive assessment of the trend of relations. Now they are normal, but not good enough, he said. The diplomat said Bulgaria will continue to try to expand her trade with the United States under existing conditions while awaiting a chance and a change in the American law. Sofia hoped also to conduct agreements for cooperation in science and culture and information exchanges in agriculture. But they do not want to go so fast, I think, Mr. Yankov remarked, speaking of the Americans. This coincides with the feeling prevalent in the American embassy in Sofia for more than a decade. A succession of American diplomats here felt that Washington habitually regulates the improvement of relations with Bulgaria to next to last place among European communist states, followed only by Albania, with which the United States has no diplomatic relations with. Residue of bitterness. The residue of bitterness, the result of a long break in relations, a particularly sharp edge to the Bulgarian anti-American propaganda and espionage show trial here in 1963, and sometimes organized violent demonstrations among and against the American embassy, has made the attente slower in developing here than any other communist state, even Czechoslovakia that we just mentioned. To sit in the American embassy reading room, ostensibly open to the public, it is a lonely experience. Hardly a Bulgarian dares to enter to browse. Often when a Bulgarian signs a Western embassy guest book after a dinner, at which his, her, or their attendance has been authorized by the Bulgarian authorities, he, she, or they does not or does so with intentional inability. He, she, or they does so with intentional ineligibility. Many decline to sign any further than lunch. Despite all of this, last year was perhaps the best in relations between the countries. Trade rose from 11 million in 1973 to 30.4 million, the highest-ranking Bulgarian communist ever to visit the United States. Deputy Premier Ivan Popov toured the country for 2 weeks and returned pleased with his reception in official and business circles. Bulgaria stopped jamming the voice of America to provide a propitious climate for the Popov trip. In the preceding year, two long-standing issues, a consular convention and the granting of multiple entry visas for American embassy staff, were finally resolved. And that is it from Sofia, live and direct, under 7 minutes too, plus the 2-minute intro, 9 minutes. And then I still have to edit and shave off a few stuff. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something. Sanitize, make great relations with your friends, and until next time, it might go slow, it might go steady, but if you put in the effort, you just might get a good trade agreement. And with that, I'm signing off for the day. I'm going to edit all of these hopefully in like the next hour. And with that being said, they're all like 7 minutes, 6 minutes, so enjoy, learn something, and I would probably last minute do the intro for all of these at like the crack of midnight. Not like literally midnight, but you know, like basically the video is done and I'm like, oh shoot, I forgot to edit the voice. Yeah, it's almost time to get out of here, and I might want to try to do one more thing, because yesterday was actually News Day, and today is supposed to be a video. So, I guess we could kind of cross, but we'll see though. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and until next time, sanitize, stay safe, and from ANN, signing out, and back to your regular scheduled documentaries on the ANN network.